Every year, millions of people celebrate Onam. And if you ask almost anyone about the story behind it, they'll tell you the exact same thing. A jealous god Vamana punished the rituous Asura king Mahabali by crushing him under his foot and banishing him to a dark underworld called Padala. But what if I told you that this is entirely wrong? What if I told you that according to our ancient Puranas, Mahabali was never actually punished? What if the famous 3 steps didn't even happen in Kerala but on the banks of a river in Gujarat? And what if the funny pot-bellied caricature of Mahabali we see everywhere today is a complete insult to the one of the most powerful, muscular and majestic warriors in the cosmic history? Onam is not just a simple folktale. It has 2000-year-old epic hiding a massive timeline paradox, a beautiful story of complete spiritual surrender, and a festival that literally unites the entire state. Today we are going to uncover the absolute truth of Onam. To really understand this, we have to go back to the very beginning to a cosmic curse in Vaikuntha. The 4 great sages, the Sanat Kumaras, were once trying to visit God Vishnu, but they were stopped at the gates by his 2 divine gods, Jaya and Vijaya. The sages became angry and cursed the gatekeepers to be born as Asuras on earth. In their first birth, they became the terrifying brothers Hiranyaksha and Hiranyakashipu. This lineage is everything. Hiranyakashipu had a son named Prahlada, the ultimate devotee of Mahavishnu. Prahlada had a son named Virochana, and Virochana had a son whose birth name was Indrasena. Because of this unimaginable strength and power, Indrasena became known across the 3 worlds as Mahabali. Now, if you look at the Onam advertisement today, you will see Mahabali drawn as fat, clumsy, pot-bellied man holding a palm leaf umbrella. This is a massive modern distortion. According to the Puranas, Mahabali was a Veera, an emperor of breathtaking physical power, highly muscular and radiating martial brilliance. Just to give you an idea of his physical strength, let me tell you a fascinating story from the ancient scriptures. The mighty Ravana once traveled down to the subterranean realms to challenge Mahabali to a fight. Mahabali didn't even bother to draw a weapon. He simply pointed to a massive glowing object lying on the ground. It was a kundala, a divine earring that had fallen from his great-grandfather Hiranyakashipu. Mahabali told Ravana, if you can simply lift that earring off the ground, I will fight you. Ravana laughed and tried to pick it up. He used all his 20 arms and his legendary strength, but he couldn't even budge it. His hands got crushed under its weight, and he fell to the ground completely humiliated. Mahabali just smiled and easily picked it up. That was the true power of King Mahabali. Under Mahabali's rule, the world saw a true golden age. There was no crime, no lies, and no poverty. Every single human and every single Pashu lived completely without fear. But his power grew so vast that he conquered the heavenly planets. God Indra and the Devas were exiled. Seeing the Devas lose their home, their mother Aditi prayed intensely. Answering to her prayers, God Vishnu incarnated as God Vamana, a beautiful glowing young brahmachari. And here is where the popular story misses a massive geographical detail. If you read Canto 8, Chapter 18 of the Śrīmad Bhāgavata Purāṇa, you will see that Mahabali wasn't sitting in Kerala when all this happened. He was actually performing the Grand Yajna, a massive fire sacrifice at a place called Brihagacha. This is on the northern banks of the Narmada River, which today is Bharuch in Gujarat. God Vamana walked right into the sacrificial area. His divine glow was so blinding that the priest and King Mahabali stood up in deep respect. Mahabali welcomed the boy and told him to ask for anything, gold, villages, elephant, anything, okay? But God Vamana smiled and asked for a piece of land 3 paces long measured by his own feet. Mahabali's guru Shukracharya warned the king, do not agree this. This boy is God Vishnu himself. He will take absolutely everything you want. But to Mahabali, breaking a promise was a sin worse than death. He washed the young boy's feet, sealing the vow. Instantly, the small ascetic expanded into the breathtaking cosmic Trivikrama form. With his first step, he covered the entire earth. With his second step, he covered the heavens. There was nowhere left for the third step. God Vamana looked down and asked, where exactly should I place my third step? Completely empty of his ego, Mahabali simply bowed his head and said, place it upon my head, God. This is the moment that people misunderstand. God Vamana was not crushing him in anger. In our spiritual tradition, when God places his foot on your head, It is the ultimate spiritual initiation. It is a divine diksha. God Vamana was wiping away Mahabali's final trace of ego and granting him absolute salvation. God Vishnu didn't punish him, and he didn't send him to a miserable hell. Hell in Puranas is called Naraga. Mahabali was actually sent to Sudala, which is part of Bilaswarga, the beautiful divine subterranean heavens built by the celestial architect Vishwakarma. And God Vishnu gave him the ultimate blessing. He promised that in the next cosmic age, Mahabali will become God Indra. And until that time, God Vishnu promised, I myself stand at the gates of Sudala. I will always be right there with you, protecting you. God Vishnu literally became the personal gatekeeper of his own devotee. So if all of this happened in Gujarat, how did Onam become the heart of Kerala? And what about the town in Tamil Nadu, Mahabalipuram? Let's clear up this quickly. Mahabalipuram was not named after Mahabali. It was founded in the 7th century by a Pallava king named Narasimhavarman I, who had the title Mamalla, meaning the great wrestler. The original name was Mavallapuram, which is slowly morphed into Mahabalipuram over the centuries. But the biggest puzzle is a timeline paradox hiding right inside our Puranas. In the 10 avatars of God Vishnu, God Vamana is the 5th avatara, Parashurama is the 6th avatara, and according to tradition, Parashurama created the land of Kerala by throwing his divine axe into the sea. So if God Vamana came before Parashurama, how could Mahabali have ruled Kerala? By the Puranic timeline, Kerala didn't even exist yet. The answer is found in ancient history. The first written record of the word Onam actually comes from a 2000-year-old Tamil Sangam poem called Madurai Kanchi. It describes Onam as a grand, prosperous harvest festival. Later on, beautiful 14th and 15th century Kerala texts like Unninili Sandesham and Kokila Sandesham also describe grand Onam celebrates across the region. Over the centuries, the people of Kerala did something truly magical. They took their incredibly ancient harvest festival and perfectly merged it with the grand Puranic legend of Mahabali's truth and God Vamana's grace. They made it a living celebration. And actually, Kerala isn't the only place that remembers him. Across India during Deepavali, neighboring states celebrate Mahabali too. In Karnataka and Andhra, it is called Bali Padyami. In Maharashtra, it is Bali Padwa. In Gujarat, it's Bestu Varash. He is the true pan-Indian legend, but Kerala celebrates him the grandest. Today, Onam is the official state festival of Kerala, uniting Hindus, Christians and Muslims as one single family. It is a 10-day countdown, starting on Atham and peaking on Thiruvonam. It actually begins with the Pookkalam, the beautiful flower carpet. On the day 1, it starts with a single ring using a very specific tiny white flower called the Tumbappu. This is incredibly auspicious because it is the favorite flower of God Shiva. Day by day, it mathematically expands, and by the 10th day, it uses 10 different varieties of flowers to form a massive mandala. Sitting right at the center are Mahadevar, sacred pyramid-shaped clay figures. These actually represents a divine trio, King Mahabali, God Vamana and God Shiva. In fact, at the ancient Trikakara temple in Ernakulam, which is the center of Onam, God Vamana and God Shiva are worshipped side by side. Then comes the Onasadya, the grand vegetarian feast served on a plantain leaf, perfectly balancing over 2 dozen dishes. But here is an amazing secret. If you travel up northern Kerala, in the Malabar region, the Onasadya looks very different. Up there, many families happily include non-vegetarian dishes like special fish and meat curries right along their Onam feast. It shows how the festival adapts to the beautiful local culture. Onam is also packed with high-octane energy and ancient folk legends. If you go to Thrissur, you will see a beautiful play called Kummatikali. God Shiva and Goddess Parvati are so happy with Mahabali that they send their own Bhutaganas, the Shivaganas, down to earth wearing colorful masks to dance and celebrate with the people. And down the backwaters, you'll witness Vallamkali, the legendary snake boat races. But did you know these massive boats were originally built for a war? Centuries ago, bandit attacks the Thiruvonam, a holy boat carrying the Onam feast to the Aramula Parthasarathi temple. The furious locals built massive 100-foot war boats to violently protect the god's feast. That protection fleet became the famous boat race we see today. And in northern Malabar, you will encounter the mystical Onaputtan, a beautifully painted folk deity representing Mahabali in disguise. He is called Pottan because he never speaks. He only rings a heavy bell. But there are strict rules. He must never stand perfectly still. constantly shifting from side to side, and most importantly, devotees are strictly forbidden from touching his feet. He remains detached, wandering divine presence. When Mahabali arrives in Kerala every Thiruvonam, he doesn't come looking for the kingdom he lost. He comes to see if his people are still living with the values he stood for: absolute truth, equality, and boundless generosity. The story of God Vamana and Mahabali is not just a tragedy. It is a cosmic masterpiece about the absolute destruction of the ego. Onam leaves us with a powerful spiritual truth. It reminds us that the greatest wealth we can ever possess in the life is not the empires we conquer or the things we collect. The greatest wealth is what we are willing to surrender for the truth. This is the real story of Onam. Thank you for joining me on this journey. If you love discovering this hidden depth, share this with your friends and family. Happy Onam to all of you.